The Lord is in this place. Da 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 da. Ooh, ooh. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Oh, surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. That's Lanny Wolf. Lanny Wolf out of the Yes Lord book. I always start with a hymn. You know, I got people come over here with all kind of walks and spirits and all kind of stuff, and we want y'all to know this is a Christian show. We have fun. All right? We have a great time, but we want y'all to know that we don't allow a bunch of outside garbage to infiltrate the Sirwalterj Jones show, all right? We are women and men full of purity and everlasting joy and all that other stuff. Listen, I got to do the intro because I got to look at this note here. Bass.
It's the show that will get you thinking, and where the topics are hot. Feel free to comment whether we agree or not, 'cause he's got something to say. Sirwalterj Jones. Sirwalterj Jones. He's got something to say. Sirwalterj Jones. Sirwalterj Jones Show.
Come on in. The water's fine. Hello, everybody. Sirwalterj Jones Show. I'm here. It is the evening edition, baby. Come on in here, Pastor Lennon, and who is this? Annette and Nilsson and Lisa and Randall, Robertson, Jenkins, Chester. A whole bunch of y'all are here. I want to talk about this release today. Bill Cosby was released from jail, from prison, and it has caused a shockwave to happen all through America, and I'm sure throughout the world, because this is something that many people, no one saw coming. No one saw it coming. Okay. You know, when you're convicted of something, you have every right for an appeal. All right. Unless your appeals run out. If you have a right for an appeal, even though you know it just won't work, you still do the appeal. Okay. Well, the appeal paid off. When I was in college in the 1980s, I graduated from high school and I enrolled in Bethune-Cookman College. It was college before. It's now a university now. Mary McLeod Bethune formed a college in the I'm supposed to know that, 1940s, 30s, or somewhere around there, okay, with just 8 girls, I believe it was. And then they came together with, the Cookman name comes from an all-boys school. Bethune was a girls' school, okay, and I enrolled in there because I want to be a part of a prestigious HBCU experience. My major was pre-law, believe it or not. That was my major, pre-law. I was fascinated by the law process here in America, okay? And I would, as a little boy, go through, read all of the amendments. I knew I tried to learn the Constitution, the amendments and the preamble to the Constitution. You know, in 8th grade, you had to know we the people in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessed liberty, all that stuff. You're supposed to know it before you graduated from the 8th grade. In Chicago, I know that to be true. I don't know what it was in your town. Okay, we just assumed all states made this a provision. Okay, a mandatory thing before you can go into high school. All right, and so we learned it. And if you were a foreigner, you had to learn it in order to become a citizen here in the United States. All right. So what I would do is I would dress up in a suit and I would head down to the lawyer's offices. I worked downtown for a certified public accounting firm. Okay, and right across the street was a law office, and I would walk across the street on my lunch period, and I would ask the lawyers if I could shadow or whatever you call it. Just look at their paperwork, find out what they're doing, how they do it. And the lawyers were freely willing and just wanted to help me. Said, sure, young man, you can sit at this table, this desk, you can go through the paperwork, and and you can learn the ropes. Are you serious about this is what you want to do? I'm like, yeah, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be that guy. I want to be Mason, Perry Mason. Okay. And I began learning, and then I started a flow farther away from that and going into business administration, which wound up being my career, and learning the ropes of being a business owner, which I am today. So thank God all that paid off. But I remember my days of studying the law. So what I want to do is show you that many of you are upset with Bill Cosby being released, but you have to understand that the reason why he was released is because the system, which was designed to do a certain thing, worked, whether you like it or not. The system was designed to do what it did today. Checks and balances are very important in this system, this country that we have today. You gotta remove your emotion from this show today. Remove your emotion from this show. Even if you are a survivor or a victim, if that at all possible, allow your wisdom and intellect and the Holy Spirit to rise up in you so that you can remove your emotion and see that the system was designed for this very thing today, even though a man or a woman might get off free who committed a crime. It is not a perfect system, but it is the best system that man could come up with. Do you understand? I like that Pitt says if you don't like the system, get involved to change the system. You who are African Americans, you don't vote in the midterm election. It's coming up real soon. You only vote 4 years. You vote for presidents. That's it. But what affects you directly in your local towns, in parishes, in municipal areas is midterm elections. And that's the election that affects you the hardest, yet you won't go out and vote. This is why these Republicans, I'm neither Republican or Democrat, but these Republicans down in Georgia and all these other states are forcing these ungodly voting laws and passing them because the people you have in those offices were voted in and put in there during an election time when you did not want to vote. Do you understand? That's it, Pastor McGee. That's where the true power lies. And so checks and balances are important. If you wasn't a part of the process, Ruth Chester says, you cannot complain or bring your emotion in there and start marching in the streets and start with picket signs and all this stuff and going on liberal media or conservative media crying. You can't do that if you was not a part of the process. Do you understand? You have been invited to the dinner. You are a special guest, but you don't want to come. Do you understand? So remove your emotion from this show and listen to Uncle Sir teach you what happened today and why it can continue to happen unless you get involved. Do you understand? The church shouldn't be moved. Come on, Jimmy. That's true. He was innocent according to the system and should had not been charged according to the agreement, Priscilla says. Was it fair? Absolutely. It got released via loopholes and a technicality. He was denied protection. Do you see what I'm saying? It worked. I tell them all the time, vote the yes. You got to understand. So let me take you to through a timeline on why it worked. Yes, there are going to be some thumb downs on this show. You who are emotional are going to hate the show, but I don't care. It's like my book here, shameless plug. My book, The 4 Women That Men Desire. Some of the women read this book and hate it. And they hate it because they bring their emotions involved in this. But the book is not about what is right or what is wrong. My book, I always say, is about what is. It's what the man think. What he thinks may not be correct or righteous, but it is what he thinks. And because that's what he think, now you need to approach it the way he think. And sometimes the way to approach it is to walk away from it. Do you understand? It is what it is. This book is a woman's guide to men, not a man's guide to a woman. So you can disagree all you want to with it, but it ain't about you. It's about him. It was written from a man, not a woman. Do you understand? So let me give you the history here to help you understand the system so that you can understand when these things happen. You can't cry. Obama would always say, don't boo, vote. The president of the United States, the last one we had, thought that he had immunity. He thought he had exclusive power, that he could do whatever he want to. And y'all voted for a man who did not know the Constitution. What corporation hires someone in such a high prestigious seat on Wall Street, being a public offered corporation, and you hire a CEO who know nothing about the business? He's going to bankrupt that business. Hence Donald Trump. Okay. And so y'all voted for someone who knew nothing about the corporation. And what was he doing? Everything that he could do to bring the corporation into bankruptcy, like the rest of his businesses. And he was doing and implementing and just doing whatever he wanted to, just signing his name everywhere. And a lot of it was unconstitutional. And the people around him were like, how is he doing this? Is any of his people telling him about the Constitution? And this is why, if the executive branch has that much power over the other two branches, we would be in a type of monarchy, dynasty, anarchy, communism, authoritarianism. We would be up under that system if the executive branch had all of the power. But thanks be to God, we have a judicial system and we have a legislative system, and it is bicameral, and they check one another. Do you understand? Remove your emotion from this show. Education is the key. I don't mean going to school for 4 and 5, 6 years. I'm talking about educating your mind. You can read and understand this. So let me open up. Let's see. Now we know who Bill Cosby is. We know who he was. America's father, America's dad. We were so proud of him, and he let us down. All right? But I want to tell you that what happened here started with what was called the Magna Carta. Due process developed from Clause 39 of the Magna Carta. You heard about the Magna Carta in high school or grammar school. Blessings to you from Trinidad and Tobago. We have many citizens from Trinidad and Jamaica and the islands at our church. Half of our churches are islanders, so blessings to you. Okay? Yeah. Antonio Jackson, blessings to you. Good to see you. Okay? The Magna Carta in England. Reference to due process was first appeared in the statutory rendition of Clause 39. In 1354, that's a long time ago, y'all. Here's what it says. No man of what state or condition he be shall be put out of his land or his tenement, nor taken, nor disinherited, nor put to death, without he be brought to answer by due process of law. And when English and American law gradually diverged, due process was not upheld in England, but became incorporated where? Right here in the United States Constitution. Now, what is that? Due process. Due process is the legal requirement that the state must respect all legal rights that are owed to a person. Due process balances the power of law of the land and protects the individual person from it. When a government harms a person without following the exact course of law, this constitutes a due process violation, which offends the rule of law. You kept hearing Donald Trump talking about the rule of law. Well, he kept breaking it himself. So, the 5th and the 14th Amendment to the Constitution each contain a due process clause. Due process deals with the administrative or the administration of justice, and thus due process clause acts as a safeguard from arbitrary denial of life, liberty, or property by the government outside the sanction of the law. So what does the 5th Amendment say? Y'all always hear about the 5th Amendment when you're being arrested. You hear about the 5th Amendment when you're sitting without your lawyer at the police precinct. You hear about the 5th Amendment when you are in the courthouse sitting on that bench. Okay, not the bench, but the chair, the witness chair. Okay, and you always hear about it. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime, unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy. Double jeopardy. This is why Bill Clinton cannot be charged again. To be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, property. This sounds like the Magna Carta. Without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. That's what happened here in this process. So let me give you the timeline. It doesn't take long for you to see this. That's it, Joan. Cannot be tried for the same crime twice. Richard Hall brings up Jeremiah 17:9. All right. And I'm going to get to the spirituality of this, okay? But let's talk about the natural. That's the thing. We really don't know everything about Cosby's personal life, only what we saw on TV, saw in comedy concerts, or heard the albums. Yeah, I get that. But let's do this. Wait a minute. He says, yes, I don't believe them. Bill Cosby, Bill made adulterers, but not rapists. If he did as a black man, he wouldn't be out every. Yeah, I can't make those judgment calls. I won't. I just won't. Okay. So right here, 83-year-old man. They gave him 3 to 10 year sentence in maximum security prison after a jury found him guilty in 2018 of sexually assaulting, what was her name? Andrea Constad, right? He was charged with sexually assaulting her in 2004. Now, pay close attention, because if you're in school for law, what happened today and what happened on 2018. What happened between 2004 and 2018 should be in all of the law books from now on. It should be a case study for all you who are trying to study law. What just happened to Bill Cosby is what you should not do when you're trying to prosecute or defend anybody. Don't do this, because the church is guilty of what happened today. The court is divided. The lawyers are divided. COVID-19 came, and the talk of vaccines and what COVID-19 really was. So what happened in the medical industry? The medical industry became divided. Why? Because conspiracy theorists came about, those who have medical licenses, and nurses and doctors, okay? They were fighting one another, trying to figure out, this is what it is, this ain't what it is, this is how you treat it, this is not how you treat it. If you hold your breath, this is going to happen. If you witches and warlocks came out, all kinds of stuff. The medical industry, like we've never seen before, became divided. So the criminal industry, okay, sector, or whatever you want to call it, also is very divided, because the church, at least what we call the church, because God's house is not divided. We act divided. The only entity that we know that is not divided is Satan's kingdom. Jesus even alludes to it, that the kingdom of Satan is not divided. How do we know? He brings up a name. Y'all know what the name is? Jesus brings him up. He brings up the name Beelzebub. Anybody know what that name means? And where he come from? And he says, Beelzebub, don't go against Beelzebub, because they were saying that Jesus was doing these miracles in the name and under the power of Beelzebub. And Jesus then made a proclamation to those people that says that you're blaspheming the Holy Ghost, and there is no forgiveness for that. But Beelzebub, of the Satan's kingdom, is not divided. Ain't that something? That's amazing. But yet y'all are. And that's how Satan infiltrates. He divides and what? Divide and what? Can y'all tell me? Come on, Devon Robinson. Come on. Danny King, blessings to you, man. Okay. So 2004, the assault happened. In 2005, here's where it got tricky. The district attorney at that time, Bruce Castor. Don't beat up Bruce Castor, because he did something. You can't beat up Bruce Castor. You got to beat up the people who are in the prosecutor's office. It's the prosecutor's fault for what happened. Bruce Castor, who later became one of President Trump's impeachment attorneys, did not bring a charge to Bill Cosby against him, saying there was not enough evidence. Whether you agree with him or not, that's not what this show is all about. He didn't bring a charge. He said there was not enough evidence. So he made an unconditional verbal agreement not to prosecute Cosby. Pay close attention to this. This is where they messed up. He didn't mess up. They did. He made a verbal agreement not to prosecute Cosby if he would give a deposition in Constant's civil case. Very important. Cosby reasonably relied on that promise to his detriment by foregoing his Fifth Amendment privilege that I just read to you against incrimination. He decided to speak based off of a promise. Just like that $20 bill I had held up yesterday. That $20 bill is only worth 20 based off of the United States promise. It's not tied to gold. You understand? Not no more, the gold standard. So it's only based off of a promise. So he made a verbal agreement. And Cosby says, I'll do this. And then he foregoed his Fifth Amendment. So what he did, he sat in those depositions, and we saw some of those depositions on TV. Do you understand? Y'all still with me? Are y'all still with me? Okay, now, the same deposition then, the one that Cosby sat in, became the basis for a new district attorney to charge him 10 years later. So this new DA guy did not or was not informed of the agreement that Cosby had made. So what did he do? This new guy, days before the statute of limitation expired on rape cases, okay, he then pushed this thing, which means that the prosecutor broke his promise. He broke his promise. Y'all with me? Okay. Y'all with me. This is important. You lawyers out there, you better follow this. So then what happened? Pennsylvania Supreme Court decided, after looking at this case and seeing how botched up it was, had to, by law, because it was designed to do this, whether they thought that Cosby did the crime, it didn't matter. You must follow the law. It's not about your opinion. It's about how to follow the system. Do you understand? Uzzah decided to hold up the ark or try and catch it from falling. Okay, it was on a cart and it was on rocky terrain, and he reached up because the Ark of the Covenant was going to fall over, and Uzzah reached to hold it up to keep it from falling, and God killed him. Why? Can y'all put that in the comment section? Please. Why did God kill a man? Was it unfair what God did? How could God kill a man for trying to save the Ark of the Covenant from damage or destruction? But yet he killed him for doing what the man felt was right. Somebody help me. Did God do an unrighteous thing? Come on, Bill. He wasn't supposed to touch it. Can you tell me why? Wasn't he supposed to touch it? Who told you, Bill, that he wasn't supposed to touch it? Anne says he broke God's instruction. Priscilla says only the priest could touch the ark. The law was that it shouldn't be touched, Andrea Jenkins. Come on. See, y'all on it. Come on, John. Good to see you, by the way. Yes. Y'all teaching this. Since his freedom is based on... Wait, where am I? Y'all going fast with the comments down. I'm trying to catch up. Since his freedom is based on a loophole, will it affect the charge? No. Will it actually change the public's? No. Oh, absolutely not. Checks and balances were in places in regards to the argument. Yes. God said yes. Y'all got it. It don't seem right. And when I was a little boy reading that story, I thought that was incorrect. Why would he do that? Hey, Manda Drain, it's so good to see you. Manda reached out to me yesterday. I was cracking up. I appreciate you. I sure appreciate you. Okay. So God had a law, and this young man broke the law. But when I read it, I thought it was unrighteous for God to kill him, man. He was trying to protect yours. That's yours, God. But he broke the law. Even when you're trying to do something that you feel is right, you breaking a law which could get you in trouble. Y'all understand? Yes, y'all got it. God is never unjust. Come on, John. Yes. So Pennsylvania Supreme Court decided to overturn Cosby's conviction of sexual assault. Why? Here's what they said. It was an affront. Now, what is an affront? An affront is an action or a remark that causes outrage or an offense. So what they did, the prosecutors putting Cosby in jail, was an affront to fundamental fairness. The prosecutor violated Cosby's due process. Prosecutors violated a deal which was supposed to shield Cosby from criminal persecution. Do you understand what I'm saying? Again, remove your emotion from this. This is why some of y'all are not allowed in certain places, because you're too emotional. Yes, not understanding something doesn't necessarily make something. Trying to tell y'all. Yes, David Weaver, I've been looking for the reprimand all day long. I have not saw it. I guarantee you that Fox News and conservative media are going to tear up the DEA. But if they tear into the DA, they got to tear into their guy who defended Trump. So this is a tricky thing, which is probably why I haven't heard about it today, because if they go after the DA, they have to go to the original DA who had the case, which was Trump's guy who was defending him. So we're in a precarious situation here. Y'all understand? I'm going to say this to y'all. It's difficult to talk about stuff like this. You know why? Because of race. Critical race theory. Because of race. Black people come together to protect and defend when it benefits the village. Do you hear me? O.J. Simpson was charged with murder, and the glove did not fit. And when they read the verdict, white America cried and wept and gnashed of teeth and cried, "Murderer got away." Black America celebrated in the street. Why? Because they needed one. Black America, they needed this. They needed it. And Chris said, not even a thing, critical race theory. And you're right. It's it should have been buried. Critical race theory. I'm gonna do that show. Don't worry, y'all. I'm gonna do the critical race theory. We're laughing at it, and white folks are scared. Okay. Black people needed O.J. Simpson to win. Okay? Auntie Maxine Waters said a few things that I found was deplorable. I even did a show or two to rebuke Maxine Waters for what she said. You, black people, celebrated her. What she said was a violation to your Christianity. But you celebrated her exclusively due to the darkness of her skin. Do you understand? Some of y'all are so pro-black that you can't see the righteousness of God. You're blind to it. You're so pro-black that your intelligence is put on the back burner. You understand? R. Kelly, after all those women came forth, because you enjoy his music, many of you protected him to the very end. Well, there is no end just yet. It's an ongoing process. You're friends with him. You know him. You grew up with him. I grew up with R. Kelly. He's been in my home. My brother Larry was showing him bass guitar. I was playing piano with him and when he was up Kenwood. He may not remember me now because it was high school years, but you know his friend Earl was my neighbor up the street, and Earl would have me play piano with the boys in the hallways, crooning the girls right before they created the public announcement group. Understand? Oh, I was there. I was there. He was just Robert to us. All right. Well, with that kind of relationship, I should be protecting Robert. I didn't want to protect Robert. I wanted justice. Now, how do we obtain justice? We need the process to take root. We needed him to go through the process. It was designed that all men are innocent until proven guilty. So Kelly is going through the process. Whether I believe he did it or not, I went through the process. I have a photo of me being arrested. I spent a couple weeks in jail as I wait the process. And then the judge had grace on me because the Lord had grace on me, and God told the judge to release me. Justice was served even though I was guilty. I did that thing, but the system worked on my behalf. I still had to go through the process. Black people, if you are not balanced enough that's to see that there were victims or survivors out there connected to Cosby, when you dismiss all of those who are coming forth, you are doing a disjustice to so many people by you only taking one side. I don't think he did it. Then your brother would say, "Oh, we don't know if he did or not, but we're just glad that he out of there." Okay. Then there are all these people who are weeping and crying because they were affected. Somehow, some way, they were affected. Who's going after them when you celebrate one side? The law is not perfect, and justice is not always served to your taste. Do you understand? But I will say this. Those of you part of the Me Too movement, the conviction of Cosby was considered a breakthrough for the Me Too movement. You know why? Because rarely did you see in American history that a man was convicted of sexual assault with that kind of caliber that Cosby had and went to prison. Can you go back in history and find 5 people in American history of that kind of prestige as Bill Cosby who went to jail for sexually assaulting? Can you go back and find 5? You're going to have to do a serious Google search. So this was actually breakthrough. You know what else was breakthrough? George Floyd's murder and conviction of that police officer getting 22.5 years was breakthrough. Y'all understand? That's breakthrough. Three to 10. He did 3. What's the big deal? Overturned. Yeah, you late, Marjorie. You're late. You need to come to the show a little on time. Tired of you being late. This is satanic elite ritual. They operate by. I'm not understanding what's going there. So they all are blind to the truth. The oppressor and the oppressed need comfort. Yes. That's exactly it. Both need comfort. And Jesus tended to both sides. Both need comfort. The law is not perfect, but the law is also not emotional. Now, was this ruling fair? Not in your house, probably not. But the system worked because there are men and women on death row who are innocent. They are innocent and they're on death row. The system seemed like it worked against them. But they're innocent. We're in trouble, y'all. Because emotions, I see emotions in the comments section. Now, should Cosby feel remorse? He expressed no remorse. All right. If I did not commit a crime, I would say, I would defend my point that I didn't commit a crime. But what Cosby did create was a atmosphere. What atmosphere was that? Adultery. How do we know? Well, he said it was consensual. Bill Cosby is married. And not one time did we hear him say anything about that. Now, does he owe us an apology? No. That is between him and Camille and God. So if he didn't do that with Camille or God, then what does that say? What does that say? Because Cosby's response today tells me that he thinks he's been deemed innocent because he got set free. He kept saying, I told y'all day one. I told y'all. See, I told y'all. So he saying, I told y'all, thinking that he is set free because he's innocent. No, he's not deemed innocent. This is a technicality. Michelle, yes, the people forgetting that portion right there. He literally, now let me show y'all how y'all act. Let me show you how y'all acted, because I see you, Mary. I see you, Golden. Let me show y'all how y'all acting. The man in y'all's face, I was watching it like y'all was watching it, admitted in the depositions that he slipped something in the drink. He admitted it. Black folks heard him. They saw his mouth move, and they dismissed it. Come on, Joe Hill. And you dismissed it. What does that say? And women, you should be ashamed. The way y'all been defending the process. I'm trying to be careful to say whether he did or not. I'm saying how y'all defending the one side. You women should be ashamed. Which means you should be silent from this moment on when something like this happens close to your family. Shh. Say nothing about your daughter being in this type of situation. Quiet yourself. His attitude said it was okay for him to do. Yes. Be quiet, ladies. Right. It was not exonerated release. Be quiet. I had an emotional reaction when I heard the ruling was overturned. However, shot at persecution worked. Yep, because they skipped over. Yeah. However, I did not want any of it bad enough to allow myself to be subject. That's you, Mary Golden. But y'all better pay close attention and be very careful how y'all are one-sided. Bell said it. Yep. On Larry King, he talked about the Spanish Fly. He joked about it in his stand-up comedies and stuff. This was true stuff that he was doing, and then he said it out of his own mouth. And you black folks, especially you women, said, "No, no, he didn't." What does that say? I know parishioners who do that for their pastors, who commit these crimes of passion towards members. You do the same thing to your pastor. You will support him to the very end no matter what he does. That's a problem. Yeah, his family, yes, he does. Bill Cosby, he testified in 2005 that he purchased, Quaaludes to give to women with the intent of having sex. Yeah. According to the new court document obtained by I told y'all. He said it. And y'all dismissed it. Is that your excuse? That was the culture of his surroundings? It was the culture of his surroundings. So are y'all not going to say anything about the victims? Survivors? Because if that was the culture, many young girls, immature, without their mental scruples intact, go into that culture and come out raped. So now what are you going to do with that information? If it was your daughter, you'd be at the Capitol building, not doing an insurrection, but you'd be at the Capitol building, knocking on the doors, trying to get some laws implemented. You would do that, would you? Come on, Bill. That is this selective excusing that we do. Yep, allegiance to the black cause. Black cause. That's exactly it. That culture must still be going on. Yeah, oh yeah, it's still going on. That culture is still going on. It ain't died. It will never die. I never doubted Cosby did those things. However, some of those women knew what. Y'all keep bringing that up. And I can't deny a lot of that. Some of those people have put themselves in those situations. Do we leave them there? And do we leave it there in our minds? See, you got what you looked for. Would you tell your daughter and sons that? That's my question to y'all. I'm looking for the answer. I'm not finding it here. Y'all keep saying they were willing participants. They knew what they were doing. You knew I was a snake when, that Donald Trump speech that he always give. Y'all keep talking about that. But is that where y'all going to stop? Man, I'm so glad that y'all are not my Jesus. So how should the body of Christ respond to this matter? We have had and are having similar issues going on the wall. Yes, Richard Hall, I'm sorry. I mentioned that earlier. Righteousness is consistent access. I'm sorry, across, I can't read. My eyes are just gone. Across the board. Yes. Whether it's making a judgment call on Donald Trump. Yeah. Yes. My point. I don't know if it was dismissed. I believe it goes back to the pro-black mentality. Yeah. Spanish Fly is one of the first date rape. Yeah. Yeah. Two wrongs don't make it right. All right. So for those of you who don't understand spirituality, sometimes, I'll be bold and say this. Sometimes when I hear the saints talk, I ask myself and I ask God too the question, do they really know you? Because they get emotional in church for a couple hours, but through the week, I can't understand why this person say the things that they say, walk the way that they walk, talk the way that they talk, watch certain things that y'all watch. Tells me who you are. And your reasoning tell me who you are. So when you see disjustice happen, you look to see, is he black or white? Notice, when somebody does a mass shooting and they haven't found the surveillant, the person, the perpetrator, when they haven't found the perpetrator, then when so before they find a perpetrator, he goes into a store, a school, or wherever, a bar, and he shoots up a bunch of people. The first thing on the black person's mind is he have to be white. He got to be white. Y'all know he white. And then you just notice that he was black, because a couple of times we see that it was a black man who committed mass murder. And the response in the black community is, oh, no. Oh, why does he have to be black? Is that not y'all's response? That's y'all's response. What does that say? Y'all help me out. Public confessions. Yes, he did. The church is in support of Bishop Moyer discussing Will Borton. Perry Davis, you must be watching Earl Carter. I'm not going to anybody's hotel. If I did, they come. Yeah, our young people need to be taught to protect themselves. Do not. Yeah, okay. I'm waiting on the rest of it, though, y'all. Some of us get so blind by our skin color. Yeah. In the trunk of that car. Years ago. Yeah. That was wrong on both sides, because those that he was invoked with, why didn't the repeats? Yeah, see? Every time you ask people to get out of their emotions, I think about Jesus and the adulterous woman. Come on, Reginald, that's good, man. Emotions. Reginald, you bring up a great point. Y'all are guilty of bringing an adulterous woman to Jesus. Guess who they didn't bring to Jesus? Can y'all put in the comment section? Who didn't they bring to Jesus? Can y'all tell me? Because the church, when a girl is pregnant, the pastor makes her stand up before the people on the microphone and apologize for her sin. And then he proclaims that she is to be silent for 9 months, as if she's going to be in sin for 9 months. A baby is growing in her belly. That means she's going to be in sin. She can't sing in the choir. She can't do in the usher. Guess who the pastor don't have come to the microphone to apologize to the church? There's a deposition right there. I mean, the article right there. He admitted to it. Y'all got it right. The man. You never bring the man. They didn't bring the man to Jesus. They brought the woman there. And they broke another law. They wasn't supposed to bring him to Jesus. That's another story. So the musician or whoever knocked her up, he keeps playing his instrument, but she's silent in church. That's what y'all are doing right now. The women knew what they were doing. If I was going over there, I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have drank that. I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have done that. Free Bill Cosby. Free Bill Cosby. That's what y'all doing. Right before our eyes. Sydney said, I ain't heard that in a while. Right before my eyes, I'm seeing this. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. It's amazing to me. Not only did they not bring that one man, but the other men also. Yeah, Reginald. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 5, Joe Hill. It's a great one. I did that show. I think I did that show. Yeah. All right. Let me close this down. I only wanted to go 1 hour. I actually know how to do that. I just don't. I'd be breaking my own rule. Let me give y'all a reminder. Do you not know that you were once on trial? You. That's right. You who are watching this show right now. You were once on trial for murder. Did you know that? You were once on trial. And you was facing death row. They was getting ready to hang you, kill you. You was getting ready to die and go to hell. You guilty. You were guilty. And then, in the middle of the prosecutor getting ready to hang him high, a ransom was offered for you. Y'all remember? Oh, all of a sudden, y'all all of a sudden you remember that, huh? Wait a minute. It's just amazing how when you bring up your situation, all of a sudden, you get all emotional about, oh yeah. How well do we forget? So, wait a minute though. But the ransom, can you imagine standing before the judge in court and facing jail time or life or the death row, and then the judge himself, if in the law says that he could pay $1 million to get you out of jail or off a death row, that the judge in his black coat reaches in his pocket and pulls out his checkbook and writes $1 million to you, who he never met before? and just write you a check? Free this man. Even though he saw you commit the crime? Well, that's what your God did for you. He gave his only son. He only had one. And for your dirty draws, you are dung, doo-doo, filthy rags. A ransom was paid for you, set you free. Now you're living up under grace. And whatever happens to you, you can look to Jesus as a reminder. Where's the law? Where's the law? Look up. There's the law right there. That's right, John. Jesus didn't drop the charges on you. You keep forgetting that part, though. You forget that part. So, you out there who are commenting about OJ and the women, but you can't see this, and you don't understand this, blah, blah, blah. There is no difference. I see no difference. You deserve to die. And the only way God calls you worthy is by looking at his son. God don't even look at you when it comes to forgiveness. He looks at his son. How do we know? He says, you can't come to me except through my son's blood. Without that, you can't come to me. I don't want to hear you, you nasty. So he looks at his son. Did Vivian commit that crime, that sin? Yes, she did. Well, you should forgive her. I can't. Then he looks at his son and he sees the blood and the holes in his son's body. Said, oh, I have to forgive Vivian. You understand? When I see the blood, I will pass over you. I need y'all to pray for those who either willfully went into Bill Cosby's chambers or he raped them, molested, or whatever he did by putting stuff in their drink. No matter how it happened, if you're not praying for the hearts of those victims, something is wrong with you. I can't trust you in my home. I would have to sleep with my eyes wide open. If we were on a Greyhound bus, I have to sleep like this because I can't trust you. I'd trust a atheist before I could trust you. When your mind is so pro-black, pro your guy, that you can't see that somebody is in torment tonight, I can't trust you. So what I have to pray for you. And you walking around here free. You're going to die and go into eternal life with Christ. And you got the nerve to walk around here with that attitude? Something wrong with you. And I'm scared to turn the lights out with you around. I got to go, y'all. Tomorrow's my birthday and baby girl's taking me to breakfast in the morning. 9 a.m. My stomach don't even wake up till about 1 o'clock. But because my daughter says, you getting your butt up and you going to breakfast with me, I'm getting my butt up and I'm going to breakfast with my daughter and my grandson. Rebecca Olivia has been a blessing to her father. Oh yeah, she just been pouring blessings on me. I tell you, I'm a blessed man to have the children that I have. So I'm going to do that. And then tomorrow night, meet me at 9 o'clock. I would be doing my Sirwalterj Jones annual birthday party right here. And don't ask no questions. Just show up. I haven't even prepared anything, but I guess I'll be burning the midnight oil. All right. Blessings to you, Bill and Dana Perry. I appreciate you being here. Who's that face, Dana? Whose face is that? Don't know by the flesh, know me by the spirit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jimmy Lynn. Jimmy got soul. Our pretty lady, blessings to you. Thank you. Michelle Humphrey, so good to see you down there, over there, wherever you are. Those of us that saw that horror when it was uncovered prayed then, and we are praying now. Yes, Vivian Taylor, blessing to you. Thank you for the for the Cash App. Thank you for that. All right, God, I thank you for your presence. I love you because you first loved me. I sure ain't perfect. Make a lot of mistakes. I try to keep my eyes focused on you. Thank you for saving us and not allowing us to fall into that pit called hell. And that hell will be tossed in the lake. I don't want to go there. So thank you for your grace. Those people who are tonight, because of this ruling, are weeping. They're hurting tonight. So first, God, I want you to heal them. Let them know that you love them. And number two, some of these people who are watching this show need a little more you. They still don't get it. Their focus is off. Speak to them tonight, God. Now I understand why, while you were on the earth, you continue to rebuke those who say they are believers, Pharisees and Sadducees and men and women of God. You rebuke them more than you rebuke the world. They didn't really believe. I'm seeing a repeat of history, especially today. So some are saying, Lord, I believe, but help thine mine unbelief. Some of these people got 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Snatch them in, God. Dreams and visions. Let that happen tonight so they can see the real big story. It's a big story. It's a love story. You died for me first. And thank you. You showed your love that way. So I owe you. So I do these shows because I owe you. In Jesus' name. Amen and amen. I would take you out for your birthday, but I'm still trying to figure out that daylight coming from your... Man, listen. I live in... What's that place that stays daylight for a few days? I live in a place where daylight always. My backyard, we have special lights that we put back there, and it's always daylight. Wherever I am, the light is always shining. All right, y'all. I love you. Take care of yourself. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit the share button. Subscribe, and go ahead and hit the share button if you're on Facebook, okay? If you do that, though, people are not going to like you from what I said. So, what y'all call that? Your association may get you in trouble. All right? But if you bold like me, at least give them a legal history lesson, okay? So they can see what happened legally, and then they can bring their emotions in later on, all right? Because y'all emotions is what's going to kill y'all. Y'all just all y'all do is make noise and scream and shout and speak in tongues and foam at the mouth. But Monday, when you're standing in front of a intellectual person, you don't even know how to talk. I'm so ashamed. Bye.
Well, goodbye. 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 Enjoy yourself. Bye. Goodbye. 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 Bye. Well, goodbye. 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 Goodbye.
Right, Mr. Walters?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?